In the DC cosmos, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of evil characters. However, there is one true villain who supersedes them all. One has been pulling the strings behind the backs of all the villains inside DC for a very long time. But the question really is, who? Who mind hacks all of the villains in the multiverse to create crisis events? Perpetua, the mother of the multiverse, or the Great Darkness? Let's find out. What's up, guys? It's me, Lumos Theromax, and today I'm actually here to crack some theories at you guys, because on my Discord I actually listen to a lot of theories and we discuss a lot of things that are potential, and I feel like I've put together a rather solid idea here, so hopefully you guys enjoy exactly what's coming. But I love both of these characters, both the concepts, and I'm really looking forward to diving into exactly who is the genuine manipulator of the multiverse. Be sure to like and subscribe to both me and the Omni-Lanterns down low, and I hope you guys are ready. Let's get to it. So, first off, I'm actually going to have to explain a few things, okay, whenever it comes to all of these different characters, because these characters are all pretty wild and involve some pretty crazy concepts. Today we'll start with Perpetua, okay? So, how is Perpetua the ultimate manipulator of every single villain that has ever existed on a cosmic scale, mainly causing crisis events and things along those lines? Well, Perpetua actually is a celestial entity that came from the realm beyond where our multiverse was, because it wasn't there yet. Perpetua actually received energies from the source itself and basically was tasked with creating a multiverse. She was super salty for some reason and decided to essentially start creating a creation with intent to entirely create it with energies that were not the necessarily correct balance that the source who had given them powers had intended. And so, as a result of that, she creates a new twisted multiverse, one based on crisis energies instead of justice or like connective energies, for example. And this was very important as it created a flaw as a multiverse, and unfortunately it was really twisted. She started creating apex predators here and started going real crazy. However, her children, the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and World Forger that she had created to govern over the separate aspects of her multiverse, they essentially betray her and tattletale on her in the biggest cosmic tattletale known to man. And essentially, she gets the banhammer. That's right. Yeah, they contact the judges of the source, guys who are below the source, basically intermediaries, and they send this thing called the Cosmic Raptor, and the Cosmic Raptor one-taps them, the army she had created of evil apex beings, and pretty much said and done. The Cosmic Raptor looks at her and says, yo, you done goofed. You goofed on a cosmic scale beyond imagination, and as a result of that, we're throwing your ass in this new structure called the Source Wall that's going to contain your multiverse because it's so messed up and flawed. As a result of that, Perpetua was stuck inside this wall, and furthermore, she was supposed to basically have this be her prison and learn from the genuinely good multiverse that was reborn later with mainly positive, positive energies, like anti-crisis energies and justice energies. And so she's basically had to watch this lame creation after her creation was taken from her, and she sits inside that source wall salting for 10 billion years. But while she sits salting inside the source wall itself, she begins reaching out even through the source wall and mind hacking all the different villains that exist throughout space and time. Most notably, of course, the first and greatest agent of hers being one of her children, the Anti-Monitor. And as you can see here, even more so than the Anti-Monitor, apparently every single crisis event essentially has been mind hacked by Perpetua to hopefully break down the source wall and break her free of the prison she now finds herself smashed into. And obviously we see those events occur way on down the way. I mean, 10 billion, I think it's 10 billion years after her capture, that Lex manages to break her free once more, and obviously her reign of terror falls on after that. But TLDR, she was the mother of the multiverse. While inside the source wall, in order to break the source wall, she mind hacks people to destroy the DC cosmology to essentially put her in a position where the source wall was weak enough that she could be removed from it. Then she wanted to go back to doing her classic Apex thing where she wanted to create a perpetual multiverse to basically kill all the hands and all the other multiverses that exist out there. However, I'm not here to discuss her entire story. The good old Great Darkness, man. Let me tell you, this is some pretty messed up stuff, I'm not gonna lie. The Great Darkness itself is pretty jacked. But let's get into a general origin story for this guy. The Great Darkness actually isn't a guy. The Great Darkness is actually nothing. The nothingness that was before everything in creation came, all the light or the overvoid or anything, before existence had spawned in any shape, way, or function on the highest cosmic level that we are exactly aware of. The Great Darkness is the nothingness, and as the nothingness was suddenly given something, there was something in the nothingness, and thus less nothingness. This pissed off the nothingness, the Great Darkness. It was like, bro, the fuck you think you just show up and start like basically just filling parts of my body with you? It didn't even know it existed, didn't even understand concepts or anything like that. As the light of creation continued to grow and there was more of something and less of nothing, the Great Darkness screamed. And that scream causes an imperceptible flaw in the once immaculate perfection of the light. In that instant, a multiverse is born on that flaw. However, as a result of this, the Great Darkness was now in pain, and it decided to strike back. As the Great Darkness began mind-hacking beings across creation, the first of many, the Anti-Monitor, the first son of Perpetua, was cursed by the Great Darkness to obliterate the multiverse in the first Crisis on Infinite Earths event. After the Anti-Monitor fails him, he chooses to invade the multiverse itself, and even at times to learn from it, and coming to his conclusion in Swamp Thing, as a matter of fact. As a result of this, he manages to actually meet up with this Hand of Light to essentially create a balance between the two, but the Great Darkness is so messed up that even unintentionally, after making that agreement, they go back to sleep and their consciousness continues to exert their influence and hacks even more characters into doing really wild things to extinguish all of the light that exists. However, after a variety of different failures, he continues to hack absolutely everyone. Weirdly enough, a lot of the same figures you saw that Perpetua hacks. The only difference here is we get conclusions of things even beyond what we were aware of before. Take, for example, the conclusion we get here that Dr. Manhattan was actually manipulated by the Great Darkness as well. Not to mention that, like, the Empty Hand breaks off and chooses to essentially fight the entire multiverse and test the defenses of the multiverse so he could build his Oblivion machine. Empty Hand being the left hand that originally shook the Hand of Light. However, the greatest avatars of the Great Darkness were later on, during the Metal Wars. But first it was Barbados who arrived, mind hacks by the Great Darkness, and later on, it was actually the Bat Who Laughs becoming the Darkest Night. But surely you guys are noticing something here. There's a lot of overlap in these two stories. Now, there's a variety of ways you could choose to look at this, but I'm gonna give you guys my personal takes, and I'm gonna give you what I think is this is just kind of how it is, so we're just gonna stick with this, even though I think it's not necessarily as valid as a lot of people think, kind of argument. So, if both of these characters are said to mind hacks these characters, clearly, only one could have done so. So, what they will say is, this is a 100% retcon, it's the Great Darkness, 100% he mind hacks everyone, and that's pretty much that. You just have to go with the new canon, because lol, separate canon theory. That's the lame argument in my opinion. So, let me hit you guys with a sick theory that I actually think could be viable, and DC actually could implement, and it would make complete sense. So, as the age-old saying goes, two things can be right at the same time, and I'm gonna hit you guys with a pretty wild theory on this one. Hear me out. What if the Great Darkness really was mind hacking everyone? What if that was really his intent? One unique thing we did not see inside anything to do with the Great Darkness is the Great Darkness having possession over Perpetua. We just forgot about everything whenever it comes to Perpetua inside the information we got about the Great Darkness later on. Perpetua is weirdly not mentioned when it comes to the Great Darkness and all the beings he mind hacks across creation. Perpetua is arguably one of the strongest, so it doesn't make sense that she would be left out by his machinations. And we know that he can manipulate high-end beings such as Dr. Manhattan, whose energies were utilized, just a fraction of them were utilized by Wonder Woman, and she was heralded to be stronger than Perpetua, albeit in a slightly weakened state. So My theory to you all is actually, what if the Great Darkness managed to mind hacks Perpetua, and the Great Darkness had Perpetua begin to mind hacks all the other characters via his influence? But it gets even deeper than that. Perpetua was known for creating a wildly powerful multiverse that was born out of twisted doom energies or like crisis energies. That's not what hands are supposed to do at all. So I'm wondering if Perpetua's mind hacks back then, and when she created her multiverse, that scream the Great Darkness made, that scream was so dangerous it mind hacks Perpetua into using those crisis energies and to creating a flawed multiverse. This unironically would tie in a large majority of DC's cosmology in a full circle, because you could explain essentially everything, rectify both of those storylines, and respect both of those characters as a result of that by not removing any value they had and just giving it to another character, which to be fair is what a lot of comic fans hate. But tell me what you guys think down low. I'm curious to hear what you think. Did Perpetua get mind hacks to create a flawed universe by the Great Darkness? To me, sounds like case closed. I'm not gonna hit you with the game theory special, but it's a game theory. Well, I guess comic theory, huh? However, be sure to like and subscribe. Tell me what you guys think, and let me know if you enjoy this shorter content that I'm just kind of cranking out for you guys. And I guess we'll see you next time. Hope you're ready for that cast video. Later, Lanterns.